Welcome to Community Talk, a public affairs presentation of the MSA United Way and Super Talk 1270. Now your host, Jena Gullo.
Good morning, Bismarck, Mandan. Thanks for tuning in. And thank you to Town Square Media, Jim Walsh, and Super Talk 1270 for donating this airtime to us every other Tuesday. You can find us here live from 11 to noon. Co-hosting with me today is the incredible Nicole Pesky.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Hey, thanks for being a big part of the United Way team, Nicole.
I love it.
Nicole is our marketing manager and organized all of Day of Caring, and you hit over 1,000 volunteers this year for United Way's Day of Caring.
Oh,
Woo.
It was amazing.
Yeah, what do you think of it? Kind of a whirlwind experience, isn't it?
Oh my goodness, I loved it so much. And I think even, what is this? We're like almost a month past already, and I'm still hearing such great stories of how the amount of work that people got done and how much fun they had. So, in fact, my parents, they volunteered for the first time this year, and my dad has actually gone back to the site that they worked at several times to help out more.
Of course he has.
Yeah, exactly. You just never know what kind of relationships are going to be built that day.
Well, you better ask your father to come back to the United Way office, because how long ago was it when Sherwin-Williams painted the entire interior of our office, and then your dad came in and hung things up on the walls for us?
Right, and you're ready now.
That's kind of like a long time ago. It was probably a couple months back?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, my boyfriend has yet to come and hang up my items, so I've been...
He's a little busy.
A little, I guess. But he is the president of the Bismarck Public Schools Foundation. They have a really exciting event coming up.
Yeah, they do. So the Apple Dash, I guess, is coming up this Sunday on September 11th. I've heard it's a great time.
Well, what he told me is that Kayla is their new director over at the Bismarck Public Schools Foundation, and she and Papa's Pumpkin Patch recruited the National Guard, Catermas Lee and Jackson to create this awesome obstacle course. So if any listeners are out there, support the Bismarck Public Schools Foundation and all the good work that they're doing to support the teachers and classrooms.
Right, yeah.
Bismarck Public Schools students.
Yep, use a little bit of help.
Later in the program, we're going to be having Tamara Uselman. She's the superintendent of Bismarck Public Schools. She's going to be joining us. And we're also going to be talking with Dr. Mike Bitts from Mandan Public Schools. And they're just extraordinary people. They've been doing some great things, so we'll be getting an update on the new school year from them.
Right. I love the school year. I have kids in the school system, and I'm a little biased, but my husband's family, they all work in the school system. So I just think we have a couple of the best school districts in the state.
Yeah, we're really blessed. We are really blessed. And, unfortunately, in any community, you're going to find kids that are in need. And through the United Way, you can help support our United Way backpack program. We ended the year off last school year packing and delivering 789 backpacks for kids to be able to eat over the weekends.
Right, and this is our first weekend, right? Yeah. Our first weekend of the year, so we're busy getting donations and setting up volunteers to help pack those backpacks. So yeah, it's vital.
Kids that are in need, it's a school counselor that notifies United Way who and which kids should receive those backpacks. So if you're a parent listening out there, a neighbor, and you think maybe there's a child in need, maybe that the teachers aren't aware of yet, feel free to contact your school counselor, and they will let United Way know.
Yeah, I love it because, if you don't have to do some all day long volunteer job to really get involved and make a difference. I think that the backpack program is such a great example of that because, next time you go shopping, grab some applesauce cups or some granola bars and make a donation to the backpack program.
Yeah, absolutely. And our office is at 515 North 4th Street, so feel free to drop those food donations off. And you can do a food drive at your place of business as well, or people can become involved in our Little Black Dress event.
Yeah, so the Little Black Dress event, that also supports our education initiative. So it's this great event that's taking place September 19th through the 22nd. And what it is we're going to have over 100 women that commit to wearing the same black dress or outfit. I guess in the past we've had even nurses that have worn black scrubs.
We've even had men participate and wear black outfits. So it's not just women.
That's great. Yeah. So we
can start calling it, instead of Little Black Dress Campaign, Little Black Outfit Campaign. Doesn't quite have the same ring though.
Or just black outfit. That doesn't have the same ring. Maybe we'll stick with Little Black Dress. So yeah, so they wear the same outfit for 4 days. You can change up the accessories, but the core outfit stays the same, and that's just to kind of signify the men and women out there that maybe only have one outfit, a professional outfit that they can wear to work, or even zero outfit. So at the end of the week, it's great because these women, they raise all this awareness and they raise money to support the education initiative. And then at the end, all of those outfits get donated to the Seeds of Hope Career Closet.
Yes. And so if you have professional clothing out there that you want to donate, tell the Seeds of Hope that it's for their career closet, because anyone that walks in their doors, if they're going back to work, newly and entering into the workforce, they can get up to a week's worth of professional clothing.
That's amazing.
It really is. It's awesome. And, Seeds of Hope, too, that supports, I think Michelle Erickson said, about 23% of their total budget for the Abused Adult Resource Center.
Wow. Yep. Good cause.
Good cause. So just make sure after rummage sale weekend this weekend, don't be donating your junk.
Boy, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So Little Black Dress, I think, and something this year too, it's always been a ton of fun, but this year new is we're doing teams. So it's been super fun to hear all of these different groups that have been talking to us about these teams that they're putting together, and they're getting kind of competitive.
How does it work? Because it used to be that each woman had to raise $500 on their own, and we only asked a select group of women to participate.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, so this year we're doing these teams of, I think, up 5 or 6.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Up to 6 people.
Yeah. So the goal is to raise $1,500 per team. $250 each, and then there's going to be prizes awarded, and then of course the whole event ends on the 22nd with our community caring and cocktails event that we're having at the Heritage Center. So
and
super
that's
fun.
Open to the public, so you don't have to just be a Little Black Dress participant.
Yeah, exactly.
Come.
Oh gosh, it's going to be great.
What's really great are all the designer brand name purses that we have available.
I know, I think we both separately on different occasions have said we're not really purse people, but I think seeing these purses that are coming into the office, it's
really sad, actually. I've become a purse person.
My husband is getting very worried about this event on the 22nd.
But see, you can buy without the guilt. It's like, because the money is going towards our education initiative at United Way.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So I mean, really.
And for men, they can come bring their wives and then bid up a storm.
Yeah.
Really, get in their good graces. Everyone should come. That's
Yes.
September 23rd. I think it's a Thursday this year.
22nd. Yep.
Oh, 22nd.
Yep. A Thursday, Heritage Center from 6:30 to 8:30. Super fun time.
Okay, join us in just a couple minutes. We'll be talking with Dr. Mike Bitz from Mandan Public Schools.
Right now, 58.
On Twitter, Facebook, online, and YouTube. Supertalk1270.com.
Welcome back. You're listening to United Way's Community Talk. I'm Jena Gullo, the Executive Director of the Missouri Slope, area-wide United Way, and co-hosting with me is the Marketing Manager at United Way, Nicole Pesky.
Good morning, everyone.
I'm really excited because we have one of the best guests in studio with us today, Dr. Mike Bitz from the Mandan Public Schools. Dr. Bitz, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
How are you doing?
I am doing well.
And summer just kind of flew by.
It did. We're after Labor Day already.
So as superintendent, do you ever really get a break?
We do. We take we get vacations here and there, but summer's a busy time for us.
Yeah, because you're planning. And
We do. We're getting all of our state reports done at the beginning of the year and planning to start up for the rest of the summer and making sure all their positions are filled. So summers are busy.
Yeah, and so do you have all your positions filled, and how'd that go? Because there's been this big teacher shortage crisis going on in North Dakota.
We do. We have most of our teaching positions, or all of our teaching positions filled. We always are
great.
looking for bus drivers. We're always
Yeah.
looking for paraprofessionals and cooks, custodians, those types of positions. But all of our teaching positions are full.
Oh, that's fantastic. And you kind of get the cream of the crop, I think, here in Bismarck and Mandan, wouldn't you say?
We do. We have a real advantage living in Bismarck, Mandan. I think most young teachers coming out of college like to live in a metropolitan area, so we have an advantage when we open up a position.
Yeah, and I'm sure that you and the assistant superintendent, Jeff Lind, really attract the best of the best. We got to give a shout out to Jeff. Jeff's on my board of directors in the interest of full disclosure. But you know what? He really, he has such great thoughtful input, and he helps review a lot of the agencies that apply for funding, and he's just been outstanding. So thank you for the team over there at Mandan Public Schools.
We do. We do have a great team.
So this summer you said you were planning. So what kinds of things that are new this year?
We have in our high school, for as many years as anybody at the high school can remember, we had an 8-period day where we had a 7:30 start time. And our sophomores, juniors, and seniors were able to come at 7:30, and then students who rode the bus came at 8:30, and that was our real start time. And we had an 8-period day. We've revamped that. We've totally redone our schedule. Everybody starts at 8:22, and we go till 3:30. We also we call it an I&E period, an intervention and enrichment period in there, a 30-minute period where we can get students either an intervention if they need additional help, or an enrichment if they already have mastered a skill. We can take them further during that period. So we're kind of excited about that. We've also gone in the high school to a one-on-one initiative where all students have received an iPad. So that's exciting. It's a big change for us. A lot of changes in 1 year, but the high school is doing well.
So are the iPads, are the textbooks also on those iPads?
They are.
Wow.
I shouldn't say they are, but most of them are. We have an online version. My daughter's a senior, and I believe she has one textbook now that right now it's not online, but other than that, almost all. So basically that's all she needs to carry around with it. It has a learning management system called Canvas, which I know the University of Mary uses it, many universities do it, where the teachers put their course online, and the students are able to access it through Canvas. They complete their assignments, hand them in through Canvas, and it's graded right through Canvas as well. So it's really makes it nice for our students. Our students are so technology literate. I mean, it's just so natural for them.
Such a different world, isn't it?
It is.
I mean,
it is.
from you see 3 and 4 year olds with iPhones in their hands, grabbing them out, and so they've grown up with that. Do you find that there's any kids who maybe haven't had as much exposure or need some extra assistance?
I don't think we do have kids who. Mandan's a very large geographic school district. We go way south, way north, and way west. And we do have some rural areas where there is not high-speed internet available at a reasonable price. So we do have some kids who go home, and even some students who live in Mandan who, for financial reasons, can't afford to have internet at home. That's one of the reasons that we chose the iPad. With the Canvas app, they're able to download their assignments, put them into Canvas. They have the textbooks on Canvas, and they're able to, it's not internet dependent. It's always nice if you can get to the internet, but even if you can't, they're able to complete their assignments and get the information they need without being dependent on the internet.
And that's a wave of the future. I mean, what a great way to prepare them for, hopefully if they move on to the university level.
Well, and that's kind of what we talked about. We talked about that in the real world, you don't go to a room to use technology. We all use technology almost in every facet of our life, and when we need to use technology, we want it available to us.
Now, this is maybe a dumb question, but kids today are allowed to have their cell phones with them in the classroom. Is that true at Mandan Public Schools too?
Well, they do. Whether they're allowed to or not, they're going to. The girls will have it in their purse. The guys will have it in their pocket. We do we've given them a device now. We try to keep those other devices away just because we can control what's on the iPad. We have an app store, a Mandan Public Schools app store, where if you want to download an app, it has to come from our app store. You can't download Angry Birds, for example, just to play it, unless we make it available in our app store, which we have not.
Educational Angry Birds. That should
But you
be
know,
a
that's
thing.
brilliant because you
Yeah.
have kids looking at their iPad all day during class and working from it, and you want to be able to safeguard against things like that.
Correct. And
Or more dangerous.
Yeah, and then that's kind of one of the reasons we chose the iPad is just the control that we have over what gets put on the iPad and over what kids can get to. The iPad is filtered, so if they want to go to drug and alcohol sites, pornography, anything that we don't want 15 to 18-year-olds looking at, we can pretty much filter it. We probably filter too much. We've been getting some requests from our teachers that this site is a very educational site. It shouldn't be filtered, but it is, and it's always easier to add those sites back in when we look at them and say, oh, yeah, that's legitimate. It's a good site. There's no reason we can't open that up. And whether doesn't matter what network they use their iPad on, if they use it on their home network or if they're at Starbucks and they go online at Starbucks on their Wi-Fi, that filter is still in place.
Wow.
I suppose it's going to be kind of a learning curve for a while for you, too, to kind of get to know what needs to be done.
It is. Technology it never stays the same. It always changes. I don't
Right.
think you ever...
And what about your teachers? I suppose they're learning, too, how to incorporate that technology into their classrooms as well?
They are. This was not something that we decided over the summer. This is
Right.
something that we've been talking about doing for a number of years. We researched, do we go with Chromebooks? Do we go with iPads? And there's no right or wrong decision, but which one are we most comfortable with? And I was actually surprised when we went into this. I did not think we'd end up with the iPads, but we had a committee studying it, including several high school and middle school teachers, and that was their recommendation. And when I visited with them and we talked about why they made that decision, I was very comfortable with it. Our teachers, they've had iPads for a number of years. They've been working in Canvas, our learning management system. They've been building our courses. And that's another reason we really like the learning management system with Canvas. We have 6 different teachers who teach Algebra 1 courses. Now our goal is that they all teach it off the same online course.
Oh, that's
in other words,
good.
we have a guaranteed viable curriculum. And just because I like to teach this and I want to spend more time on it, that's not going to happen. And the assignments are going to be very close. They're going to be the same, so that when you get an A in one Algebra 1 course, it's pretty fair to say that you'd have an A in another one.
That's great. And so this seems very progressive. So way to go, Mandan.
No, I so far so good. We'll see. But no, I am. I'm excited about it. I know my daughter is a senior, and I have an 8th grade son who's coming up next year, and I'm excited for them. I think it's going to be good for our students.
So what are the numbers looking like when you talk about your students? Have you continued to grow? We
did. Last year, we were up 3.5%, and I was expecting that growth to slow a little bit as I was driving around and just everything from what I was seeing, I was thinking it was going to drop.
Changes.
And when we came back, we're up another 3.5% this year.
Kidding.
So it didn't slow down. We're up, I think, 124 kids from day one to day one. So we're continuing to grow. Most of the growth is at the elementary and middle school level. Both elementary and middle school we're up over 4%. Elementary-wise, we're doing fairly well. Our class sizes in the elementary are we average, I think, 21 students K through 5, which is a nice number. We do have some classrooms that are as large as 29 and some as small as 13. We got to do a better job might have to tweak our attendance areas and our enrollment or where kids go to school. But overall, I think we're in pretty good shape at the elementary. At the middle school level, our capacity is 800, and we are actually, I think we have 876 students there. So we're about 76 students over capacity.
No kidding.
So we are, our Facility and Finance Committee is going to look at some options that we have to address that situation.
Wow. What an exciting time. All this growth continuing in Bismarck and Mandan. Thank you, Dr. Bitts. Is there anything that you want the parents or listeners out there to know, or somewhere where they can contact the Mandan Public Schools if they have any questions?
Absolutely. If you have a question, certainly call your building principal or your child's teacher, or if you need to, give me a call, 751-6500. Be happy to visit with you, and if I can't help you, I'll point you in the right direction.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Betts, for everything that you do for our community. We appreciate Mandan Public Schools, too, helping us with the summer meal program. You really started it off, I believe it was last year, making sure that kids are getting fed over the summertime.
That is a great program.
It
really is.
Awesome. Well, it's because of your leadership that you inspire so many other people in the community to get the job done.
You're losing credibility here.
We will be back in just a couple minutes with the superintendent from Bismarck Public Schools, Tamara Uselman.
Right now, 58.
The Red River Farm Network. Ag News is here on Super Talk 1270.
Welcome back. You're listening to United Way's Community Talk. I'm Jena Gullo, the Executive Director of the Missouri Slope Area-Wide United Way, and co-hosting with me today is Nicole Pesky, the Marketing Manager at United Way.
Happy to be here.
You're doing so well, Nicole. You're like a natural on
I
here.
love this. Thanks for letting me do this.
You can be the host. You can take over anytime.
Right. One step at a time.
But, it's people like Dr. Mike Bitts and our guests that we have on right now, Tamara Uselman, the superintendent of Bismarck Public Schools. They make our job pretty easy.
They do, and I feel like I'm having a little bit of celebrity shock here because I was saying earlier about how I'm a huge fan of the public school system. So a ton of my family work. I actually have a family member that works at Century, Bismarck High, and Legacy. So it gets a little tricky when they all play sports together. So, so anyway, they're doing an amazing job both at Mandan and Bismarck. So lucky to be here.
Yes, in studio we have Tamara Uselman, the superintendent. Tamara, you survived the summer and the start of school. You look great.
Yeah, I saw a little poster that said summer should get a speeding ticket. It's been way too fast. But we're up and rolling. Things are looking good.
Yeah, and so tell us, the projections, were done before the changes in the oil boom. So what's the school enrollment looking like this year?
Well, we jumped by 348 students this year.
Wow.
We still have students coming to central registration, so we anticipate that number will go up a little bit more, and it often does following powwow. The number will change a little bit. So we're right on where we were projected to be. I was listening to Dr. Vitz talk about keeping an eye on the economy, and you want to be real mindful about what's happening, and data is one thing, but observation is another. And I was just smiling because I tagged with him in that, saying, have things slowed. I bet we're not going to see that kind of enrollment increase. And here they are. They're spot on. So we are growing.
Wow. And is that along the lines when you had someone come in and do your projections?
Oh, it
and
is,
trends?
yes.
Is it right on, or how's it looking comparatively?
It is. We had RSP Associates, a planning service, sometimes called a demographer, come in, and he does a lot of investigative work with specific pockets in the community to find out where development is happening, where development is projected to happen, taking a look at birth rates, and he has a formula that he uses, and he's able to extrapolate for us a best guesstimate of where our enrollment will be, and he's been 98% accurate. So
that's unbelievable. And it's good to be able to plan because you've had so many new projects happening all of the time. So talk to us about what's new this year.
So we've had a number of projects happening, and those have been a direct reflection of where the community is growing and where population is shifting. So we've added on to some elementary schools. The board has been pretty committed to investing in core city elementary schools. So Highland Acres got an improvement. Grimsrud saw an improvement. We also had, additions at Lincoln, which is growing. We added on to Liberty, which already has grown outside its skin. So we're seeing growth over at Sunrise as well, and trying to manage and monitor that. I never talk about enrollment without saying thank you to the community for those 3 recent schools, and particularly for Legacy High School, which is, at 1,000 kids already.
Wow.
So the kids are here, and we had to have space for them. And, it
Obviously was very needed.
It was needed, and it's being used well.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like it's still needed.
Right.
I mean, with those numbers, 348 new kids.
When you asked about who helps us with our projections, we had 4 years ago or so an indication that we were going to be tight at the middle school. We knew that when we went out for the bond for the 2 elementaries and the high school, but it was just too much at one time. Plus, the board's pretty conservative. They're going to wait and see. Well, here we are now at the point where we were predicted to be, and 2 of our 3 middle schools are well over capacity, with the 3rd one going to be over capacity. So, roughly 1,000 kids in Simley and in Horizon, high quality space in both of those school buildings. Wachter has about 850 or so, but they have one small grade, and they will balloon up to 1,000. And within an arm's reach here, a year or two, we're going to be at 1,200 per school building, and they just weren't built for that size. Wow. So we had a 75-member committee who came together and talked about, did you build a new middle school, do you add on, et cetera, and they spent a lot of time conversations, looking at data. They actually got on buses and walked through buildings. And what they advised the board to do is to consider additions onto the 3 middles rather than a new middle school. And I really support that. I think that was wise thinking.
And so is that starting, or has that started yet?
So the board listened to them, asked us to get architects so that we could start taking a look at what would additions look like, and very importantly, are we certain those additions would be full of kids? Well, we are. And second, what would it cost? And so they're getting cost estimates right now. The board's mindful of what taxpayers have contributed to these new schools, so they're trying to sort of do a hold harmless. How could we capture retiring debt and just use that space to do the additions onto the middle schools without going out for, a burden beyond that? So they're right in that process right now, and they have to advise us about what they think we should do. But one way or another, we have to have space of some kind.
Well, and so it's not just the physical buildings, it's what's happening inside of those buildings. And Bismarck Public Schools has a great history of providing that quality education. So talk to us about some of the programming that you're doing in the schools so kids are getting the best education, because I think that's really one of the strengths that you bring to our Bismarck Public School System.
So, I agree with you that the big thing is what happens both academically and socially for kids. And there has been a huge focus on lifting all kids, not just those who are easy to teach, those who already come from means and have, kind of these rich backgrounds, these enriched backgrounds, but all kids. What do all kids deserve? And so there's been a focus on making certain that all of our kids really meet that mission of having, we call it career college and community ready. But when we say college, we mean any post-secondary training that a child grows into. They want to be this in their lives. How do we get them choice ready so they can go to post-secondary where they want to, and they can take the careers that they want, and they can live in communities and be value added in those communities? How do you give them experiences that teach every single kid that, not just some kids? So we have a number of things going on. And it's really unique almost by school family or school community. There's been an effort made in the Bismarck High feeder to do Achieve Via Individual Determination, or AVID. And what that does is find a pocket of kids whose parents never went to college. And these kids, are smart enough, but they're not headed down a path that's going to take them to post-secondary training, and skill them up so that they're ready, and then they're in a position of choice to say, I want to go here, I want to go there, I want to do this for a career, as opposed to just sort of having to make it on their own. So that's exciting. We've got Century High School has vested heavily in doing some AVID work as well as some NIMSY work, a National Science Math Initiative, and they are determined as well to make certain all their students are ready for the world beyond high school. Legacy High School, I think, is a superb prototype of kind of those 4 C's, learning how to collaborate by doing it every day, critical thinking on some pretty rigorous curriculum, solid communication skills, speaking, writing, presenting all the time, and what I think is core in every single elementary, middle school, high school, is creativity and the arts and what they feed the humanities, the human being of us, in order to become skilled to do what we want for careers. So we're pretty vested in delivering on that for every single student. And that starts in BSEP, in the Early Childhood Center, but it goes to the elementary schools as well. They have a focus on all of their kids.
Mm-hmm. And it's nice because you're really making them good future applicants for employers in town.
Yeah, and I always say it's not my job. It's not my job to create workers for the world, but it is my job to make certain that students are in a position of choice to be value added in their community, to be employable, to feed themselves and the people they love, to take care of their communities. And that happens through practice, and they need to be practicing those same skills in the elementary.
I love that.
Yeah, that's so good. Great. I mean, our future leaders, right?
Yeah.
And so what about the children that maybe are in need of additional resources outside of Bismarck Public Schools. And, we do, United Way, we support programs that operate within your walls of your elementary and high schools. And sometimes we get some backlash saying, well, why are you providing this? This is what the school system should be providing. But I don't agree, because you have such limitations on your time, your staffing. And so I think it's really the community's responsibility to make sure that all the needs are met for these kids.
Well, personally, I agree with that. And as someone who's, conservative with taxpayer money, I agree with that. If schools could do this work alone, we'd have already done it. It would have already happened. And the fact is they cannot. It takes intersection or interfacing of the community members in order to keep a community strong. That's how you weave a community together. So the help we've received from United Way, for example, with the backpack program, making certain that kids go home with food. We have a huge population that's homeless. And so when you say to a child, do your homework, and they don't even have a home, what does that mean? And so the Neighbors Network is an example where we've partnered outside our agency in order to provide where we can to help people become independent and stable. That's the goal. And when families are strong and stable, kids are better cared for. And when kids are better cared for, they grow up to raise stable, strong families. So it does take everybody. It takes churches and school leaders and political leaders and agencies like yours.
Well, it really takes leadership like yours. And I have to thank you, Tamara. You get a lot of slack in the news just because you have such a tough job. I don't know how you do it, but the praise is amazing. And just you inspire people within the Bismarck Public Schools to go over and beyond things that they don't need to do or aren't necessarily, being paid for. It's not in their job description. Michelle Wagner this year.
Oh, she's inspiring. Yes.
Oh, my gosh. That woman started the summer meal program for 4 different parks in Bismarck, and we were just blessed, number one, to be connected with her and be able to partner with her together with Bismarck and Mandan Public Schools and the support from United Way. We served 16,452 meals this summer, making sure that kids don't go hungry.
If you know any adults who grew up in a food scarce environment and you can see how it still scarred them as adults, we're helping to take away some of that scarring and pain when we partner together. And having a stable meal for kids I just think it's a deal breaker for how they grow up as adults.
When we talk about with the backpack program, how when kids have food over the weekends and they come on Monday ready to learn.
They come ready to learn instead of sick and dizzy and somewhat frightened.
Yeah. So thank you to Bismarck Public Schools for making and delivering and organizing all of those meals, because it wouldn't have happened without your support.
Our child nutrition staff, they're rock solid. And I love that you did a shout out to Michelle Wagner. And people like her are replicated in departments across the system. So it's really a fulfilling feedback loop. These people just give and they inspire you to work harder, and people delivering for kids constantly.
If people need more information or have any questions, who should we connect them to?
Well, feel free to call Hughes. That's the administration building. Our number at Hughes, 701-323-4000. You can also find us at bismarckschools.org, and we'd love to hear from you. We'd like to talk to people.
Great. We will be back in just a couple minutes. You're listening to United Way's Community Talk.
Right now, 58.
Dave Ramsey is heard here. Super Talk 1270.
Welcome back. You're listening to United Way's Community Talk. I'm Jena Gullo, the Executive Director of the Missouri Slope Area-Wide United Way, asking you to volunteer. You can join us online at volunteerbisman.com. We have a slew of agency opportunities, United Way opportunities. In fact, we have a group of 46 kids and 15 adults helping us out the end of September. If you have projects you need done, always feel free to contact the United Way too. If you're a nonprofit or a church or someone in need, give us a jingle. Our number is 255-3601. Co-hosting today, filling in for Ms. Amber Jensen-Rajishka.
I was wondering if you were going to get that in there.
I love saying Kurt's last name. Amber Rajishka, I have no idea if I'm saying that right, is Nicole Pesky, our marketing manager.
Yes. Thanks for having me on.
Nicole, you've been here for a couple months, 3 months now?
I have.
It's been a fast few months. You've gotten a lot done. You organized our Day of Caring. You recruited over 1,000 volunteers. That's the highest amount ever. Amazing. You're amazing.
My goodness. Well, it was good work of the volunteers. That's for sure. And all the
Well,
businesses.
they do a lot. Isn't it unbelievable?
The businesses that came alongside us and recruited all the businesses that gave their employees time off to work that day.
That's a commitment.
I was blown out of the water.
That's a commitment from leadership. It starts there. And, it's one thing if you do want to have your own special day to volunteer. I think that's great.
Right.
And I think it really brings your team together. But to be able to accomplish 10,000 times more by coming together with the community.
Right.
It's
Well, and
just
it's
awesome.
kind of like the best of both worlds because we will assign businesses projects that they do on their own. So it's kind of like you get the benefit of the team building and the benefit of the whole collaborative 1,000 volunteers, and we do all the planning.
I know.
So
you do all the own planning. There is no we.
We
Nicole
do-
Pesky plans it all. But no, it
We
went
do all the
really,
planning,
really
yeah.
well. It's really exciting. And so what
That's
are some,
fun.
talk to us about your first few months at United Way, because you were the head of an agency in the community. You did great work, and you were that nonprofit leader of a small organization. Now coming to United Way, it's a lot of times people don't realize what we even do.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I've worked in nonprofit my whole entire career, and I knew very early on that it was the place that I was meant to be. So
I knew that too.
Yes.
I knew that a year ago, actually.
Yes. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So, I love it. And I think I did not have a lot of experience with United Way. So I feel like, kind of like you said, you feel like United Way is everywhere because, now that I am in it, I know that we're a lot of different places and we're a lot of different things and a lot of different work. But there's a whole population out there that doesn't really know about United Way and the work that we do. So when I came in, I felt like I came in with a really, fresh look because I didn't have a lot of experience with it. And I just was completely shocked at United Way. I'm so just wildly impressed with the group. And I feel like I can say this because I've only been here a few months. So, right. I'm still an unbiased opinion, right?
I would say so.
Okay. I think so. Anyway.
Well, it depends what you're going to say.
Okay. Well, this
No,
is
I'm
what
just
I'm going to
kidding.
say is that there's a couple of things I was just completely shocked by. I cannot believe the amount of work that goes into making sure that donor dollars are invested wisely. I mean, we're talking about like without a shadow of a doubt, wisely.
It's the part I love the most.
It kind of makes you think about other places that you donate your money to. And I want to hold them to the same standard that of how United Way acts with their money.
Well, and I tell people all the time, if you want to give direct to an agency, God bless you. If you're giving, give. I personally don't care as long as you're giving. But I think too many times people aren't giving because they don't know where to give. They don't know how the dollars are being used. And I always tell Chris Block, he's our community impact coordinator, I say, Chris, imagine it was your life savings. Imagine it's coming out of your pocket, every single dollar. And that's because we need to make sure it's the best investment, that it's either filling a gap or it's having the best results. We don't just give to good hearts anymore. And I mean, we give to some good hearts, but, it's really about making sure that the needs are being fulfilled in the most efficient and effective way.
Right. It's so comprehensive, the steps that, the agencies go through to make sure it's all good and all on the up and up. So
yeah, and Renee Kipp, she is in charge of the Burleigh County Senior Center, and oh my gosh, I had the pleasure of speak over to I think 240 elderly folks that were there for lunch. I mean, and it was amazing. It was just buzzing with energy, and it just made me so proud to be a part of United Way and be a part of the services that they're delivering. But Renee said our system for applying for funds and reporting on those funds is so easy. She does it all online. So it's not like we make agencies jump through a lot of hoops.
Right.
But we do make sure that they're measuring and using our dollars for what they say they're going to use them for. And that's huge.
Right. Yeah. And we do it for the people that that give, because that's how we would want our money to be treated.
Actually, I mean, yes, I do it for those people, but we also, I think the main reason we do it is to have the biggest impact. So it's the people that we're actually serving that we are here for, and it's our community, because every single person that goes unserved then, affects every one of us. I mean, read the news, and Bismarck, Mandan is changing.
Yeah, that's so true. Well, and that reminds me of the other thing that I absolutely love about United Way, is that I love that it's a group that sees a need and fills it. This is a group of doers, not a group of hashing and rehashing and hashing and rehashing and hashing ideas
or
and then not doing anything.
Oh.
Yeah, red tape, hoops. This is where, when there is a need and the right people the experts are brought in to figure out how to solve that issue, and then it's done. It's just done. I mean, it's like the best way to serve people.
Yeah, we're pretty blessed. We really do have this awesome capacity to make things happen. So, for example, the last few years, we had been talking about kids going hungry, and we started the United Way backpack program. So we now we have businesses and individuals that sponsor. It's only $5 for a backpack. We don't take any admin for that. We're packing and delivering. Last year, we ended at 789. This weekend, we'll figure out what the new number is for Bismarck and Mandan kids. Any school counselor can refer kids to that program. But we also were told that only 7% of kids that need help that get the free and reduced lunch program are getting meals during the summertime. So we're able to partner and capitalize, really leverage our partnerships with Mandan and Bismarck Public Schools, who made the meals. We served over 16,000 meals, and that was right when you were coming on board to United Way.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was I think that was my first week. I had to make that flyer.
Well, it's so funny because I just proposed the idea, what if, or how could we? Because we don't have a soup kitchen in Bismarck. And so our board jumped on it, and they said, yes, this is United Way's role. You go for it with our blessing. And then the staff at United Way really made it happen with Bismarck and Mandan Public Schools. I mean,
we got to work at a site. So we actually volunteered.
Wasn't that
too.
So much fun?
Yeah, seeing their little faces.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was amazing.
Yeah, and to know that we were able to get the dollars to support that, because it's not just about, making things happen. We need the money to support it so people can join in on the campaign. If you're a business out there that doesn't have a campaign yet, give us a call, or we'll be calling you, because United Way is, honest to God, I once you get involved, there's no turning back.
No, and we have a big goal this year.
$2.6 million that we have to raise by the end of January.
And we can do it.
We can do it. If people
have to do it.
Hey, Nicole, tell our listeners about Little Black Dress campaign.
Oh, yeah. Little Black Dress coming up September 19th through the 22nd. Go to msaunitedway.org to find out more information about it. But it's ladies and men, I learned today, I guess, wearing the same black dress or outfit. And that could
be really fun. That could be fun.
Yeah. And just raising awareness about poverty and raising money to support our education initiative. So it's a pretty awesome deal. And I love seeing the photos that are going to come across about that.
Well, and if you can't get a team together, because there can be teams of up to 6 people, and there's huge prizes too and awesome purses, then make sure you and your guest come to our event September 22nd.
Right. And if you don't have a team, sign up anyway, because you know what? Actually, Amber and we aren't on a team. So maybe you'll end up on a United Way team.
I was going to say, I hope you're on my team. I need you. I need your support. I need the Pesky outreach.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, right.
In North Dakota. And also, hey, for anyone listening out there, Bismarck Public Schools Foundation has their Apple Dash this Sunday. And I believe it is from 1 to 4 p.m. out at Papa's Pumpkin Patch. They have this awesome obstacle course. You'll be helping the Bismarck Public Schools Foundation. So hope you guys can make it to that.
Family friendly.
Yeah, and do the Little Black Dress event. Thanks so much for tuning in. We appreciate all your support. Go online and give today. Like us on Facebook. We're at msaunitedway.org. Thanks for tuning in.